Russian liberators bring death and destruction. Today is the 24th of January 2026 and you can hear Russian terrorists are attacking Kyiv right now. People are dying because of the cold. This woman died because it was very cold. Oh my God. This is my report on the Russian war crimes. Yes, last night Russians attacked Kyiv again. But there are no cakes because people who were baking them were killed by Russians. But Russians liberated her from her life. Yes, her kids are still waiting for her at home, but she will never come. Never. And Russians are still fighting with typical Ukrainian Nazis. Yes, and there is no water in Kyiv at some districts. Targeting civilians.
Підтримайте військового 28. Якщо я
А ви вдову не хочете військово підтримати?
Я не знаю,
This is total blackout in Kyiv. Hello everyone, greetings from the capital of freedom. In this video I will show you how we, ordinary residents of Kyiv, live in our city during the war. So today is the 24th of January 2026 and last night Russians launched another massive drone and missile attack on Kyiv's power grid. So right now we have no power, no water, no heating. Yeah, you can see all people are filming destroyed buildings at my district. I live, sorry, I'm crying, maybe because of the cold. My district suffered the most last night. Russians launched even, can you imagine, anti-ship missiles at peaceful Kievan residents. Anti-ship missiles. I don't have a ship. Neither do my neighbors. I don't even have a small boat. But Russians launched all kinds of missiles at Kyiv. As we used to say, it was very loud. It was very loud. Sorry, I'm crying again. Maybe I'm crying because of the stress. I don't know. Maybe because of the cold. Right now it is minus 12 degrees Celsius in Kyiv. Last night Russians killed several civilians. They injured several civilians. But who knows how many civilians will die because of the cold, because of having no heating, no power and no water. Right now I'm going to the... Okay, maybe you will be surprised, maybe not. But Russians are not fighting with the soldiers. Russians, brave Russians, do not fight with the tanks on the battlefield. Brave Russians are fighting with sweets and cakes. So last night Russians hit... one second. Are you ready? Last night Russians hit a chocolate factory. Yeah, a chocolate factory. They're fighting with cakes. I will show you this place. Yes, I'm crying all the time. Today is the 24th of January here. Russian terrorists are attacking Kyiv right now. Because because they won't leave us without power, without heating and without water. These are the sounds of the Russian ballistic missiles. Тихо, тихо, річ. Тихо. Look here, last night Russians hit a chocolate factory. These are their military targets. Chocolate factories and peaceful Ukrainian civilians. Just a few hours ago, brave Russians killed a woman here. She was 40-something and she was just baking cakes at the confectionery workshop. But Russians liberated her from her life. Yes, her kids are still waiting for her at home, but she will never come. Never. Because of the Russian liberators. This is Ruski Mir, my dear friends. As always, Russian liberators bring death and destruction. Only death and destruction. You will be surprised, but the shop works. And we can go there and buy some sweets. At least to get warm. But there are no cakes because people who were baking them were killed by Russians. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that people were assembling FPV drones at the chocolate factory they destroyed last night. Maybe FPV drones made of chocolate or of jelly. Lies, lies, lies. They know exactly what they are doing. This is a liberation according to Russia. They can't win on the battlefield. That's why they are targeting civilians. They are fighting with radiators, transformers, with water pumps. Very brave Russians. Targeting civilians. So today is the 24th of January 2026 and this is my report on the Russian war crimes. So my dear friends, as a result of last night's attack on Kyiv's power grid, more than 1 million of Kievan residents have no power, no heating, and no water in their apartments. And the tragedy of this situation is that most of these people haven't had power, heating, or water since the 9th of January. So it means that the genocide has been going on for more than 2 weeks. I don't know how they survive because I didn't have heating for several days and it was a real nightmare. Right now, the temperature at my apartment is 14 degrees Celsius and it's not hot, but actually we can survive. As for other people, most of these people live on the left bank of Kyiv. Yesterday I talked to some of my colleagues and they say they have no idea how to survive. This is how brave Russian terrorists are fighting with Ukrainian civilians. And I'm chronicling Russian war crimes. These are the sounds of Ruski Mir.
Є столиці будинки, де трапилися аварії, там теж працюють фахівці, оперативно відновлюючи теплопостачання в наші домівки. Ситуація складна. Морози лютують, сьогодні вночі мінус 15, тривають екстрені відключення електроенергії. Київ функціонує в надзвичайній ситуації, в якій ми всі повинні вистояти.
Many residents of Kyiv started considering some alternative ways of heating, of electricity. I told you a few days ago that when I went to a DIY shop, I went there, many people who were buying, can you guess, fire bricks. Yeah, now many Kievan residents are making so-called handmade or homemade fire places. All you need is fire bricks and tea light candles, but even these are in shortage now. Yeah, it's very difficult to buy tea light candles. I think fire bricks as well. Actually, I haven't checked, but in this video I will share some of my DIY projects. Yes, I don't want this video to be very tragic, but in fact it is. I decided to go to a DIY shop to see what one can buy for some alternative heating or power methods. I don't know. What can you buy? I can see some gas heaters. And that's all. Oh no, it's a vacuum cleaner. Do you need a vacuum cleaner if you have no power? Yes, my dear friends, I have a new crazy DIY idea. All people were laughing at me in October when I was collecting alternative methods of heating. Now all these methods are being used by all Kievan residents.
Одну?
А покажіть, який там розмір, щоб ми...
Тут написано 42 на 42
О.
розміру.
О, супер. Все. Да. Дуже дякуємо.
Може далі? Обігрівачі всі розібрали. Батареї купляють. So my dear friends, there are no heaters. Да. Look here. Nothing. You can buy nothing here. Ну я не знаю. А це ж ну, вогнестійкі? Ну нам грітися треба.
Ну, ви ж не той дивитеся, вам треба чуть-чуть далі пройти.
Все. А, жовті, да? Ура! А оці? Оці? А, фу, вони не гарні. Грітися треба. I like these ones. But we have only these ones. $100.
Тут теж це со свічками, так.
Чекайте, ви скільки взяли?
Я взяв 6, але щоб знизу поставити, щоб безпечно було. 2 знизу, потім 2 отак. З боками і 2 так.
Мабуть, 4 буде замало.
Це тут дуже так скромно. Не більше.
Вы тоже такое будете делать?
Подождите, а есть выход?
Если у вас есть на включение
Ну посмотрим, если
So right now in Kyiv, this is the most popular product. Fire bricks. Everyone in Kyiv needs fire bricks. The 21st century. We are making a new heater for this room. Річ, не заважай. Such heaters are becoming very popular in Kyiv. Це ще So this video is about cynicism and cruelty of Russians and resilience of Ukrainians. You know, it is so cynical to talk about some peace deals and at the same time trying to freeze, I don't know, pregnant women, kids, the elderly to death. Yes, Russians are trying to freeze us to death, and at the same time they are talking about peace deals. Their cynicism has no limits. So, in this video I will show you how it feels to be an ordinary Ukrainian, how it feels to live in Kyiv when your neighbor is the terrorist state Russia.
These are the sounds of Ruski Mir. That's how Russian liberators are trying to liberate us from heating, water and power. And today is the 24th of January 2026. Ruski Mir.
This chocolate factory is located near my house, very close to my house, and last night the explosions were really loud. It was very loud in Kyiv last night. By the way, the Russians were targeting the power station number 5 and the power station number 6, and last night they noted on Google Maps power station number 6 is closed for good, permanently closed. It is closed forever. And this means that residents of Kyiv will never get heating. Okay, at least this winter. What is this? This is genocide.
These are so-called heating points in Kyiv. Here you can get warm, drink hot tea and charge your devices. At least some chance to survive here in Kyiv in January 2026.
For some reason, Russians particularly do love commenting on my videos about genocide in Kyiv. And since they have no arguments, they start talking, they start discussing my appearance. Most of you know all this stuff about my excessive makeup, about my vulgar red lipstick, what else? About my level of education, about my mental abilities. Yes, my dear Russians, my cognitive abilities are fading. I should admit this fact because of the sleep deprivation, because of the constant stress. You're absolutely right. But this time that was a very funny story. One Russian, I think he wasn't, or she, I don't know. So Russians have no gender for me, especially Russian boys. I think that creature wasn't a bot. It was an ordinary Russian. So he or she wrote, Look at her. Look at this woman. She is fat. She is fat and she is talking about genocide. My dear friends, I can't understand their logic. Okay, if I'm fat, why can't I talk about genocide in Kyiv? If I am fat, why can't I talk about Russian war crimes? But my kids were upset with this comment, and it was like, mommy, you're not fat. And I told them, maybe this is my secret tactic of survival this harsh winter, because fat people don't freeze as quickly, and fat people and angry people never give up. Honestly, it's very cold. But But this is my report on the Russian war crimes.
Despite Russian attacks, life goes on in Kyiv, in the capital of freedom. And we will never surrender, and we will never give up.
Thank you for watching. Pray for Ukraine and goodbye. And never, never, never give up.
There can't be no light if darkness don't exist. He never left my side. He showed me the way out of all the storms raging at the sea. He gave me back my life. I owe him everything.
Що, хлопці, втомились? А це тільки п'ятий. Що ти на руки хочеш? Ну вас же двоє, я не можу всіх нести на руках. Яка це цифра? Яка? 7.